This conference will now be recorded.
In last meeting, we discussed about user interface objects and forms and dialog boxes and reports also. I mean, we have seen all the objects, how exactly the user interface and all. And we have seen about modules also, some little bit explanation of modules functionality and which module contains which kind of functionality. All these things we have seen in the last meeting. Today, I'm going to discussing about uh, the company's architecture. I mean, suppose if you take any ERP product, how the configurations and how the architecture will be of an ERP product. Coming to this product, okay, we are talking about our product Dynamics 365 F&O. In this product, basically, when you are thinking about a ERP product, it is a combination of multiple companies. I mean, for example, a client is maintaining different businesses. For example, footwear industry, retail industry, and any clothing business. I mean, garments. Okay, so this kind of business. If a client maintaining several businesses, that client needs to purchase different softwares to maintain their data, right? Each business having their own data, so that suppose if client maintaining four different businesses, so that person needs to purchase four different softwares to maintain their four business information. But here, if you go for ERP product, no need to go for four softwares to maintain their four businesses information. In a single ERP product, we can maintain all the business data in the form of companies. Here, there is a companies list will be available. So this is one company, this is another company, this is another company, this is another company. Let us assume that here we have a number of companies are available. Company in the sense, it is a business here, but technically we can call it as a company name. But normally it is a business name. Conteso Entertainment System, it is a business name. Company accounts data, it is a business name. Conteso Retail FR, it is a business name. So each business having their own data. For example, right now I'm in a DAT company. DAT company in the sense, let us assume that this is a footwear industry. Suppose I'm in footwear industries. Now, if you open any module, for example, if you open human resource management employees, these employees are belongs to footwear company. Okay. Currently there are no employees. That means in this company we don't have any employees. For example, if I change to any garments business, for example, GBSI, something like garments, GB, garments business. So in this business, we have these employees. Almost 20 to 25 employees are there. Suppose if I open any other business like FRRT, these employees are different. So depends on the company selection at top side, the data will be changed, but the form and the table will be same. We are going to storing data in the same table itself in the backend. But when we are selecting the company, data will be automatically refreshed in the user interface. For here, I have a number of businesses. I have a number of businesses here. Number of companies in the sense, number of businesses, right? So for each and every business, I'm not going to creating or developing a employee form. Only one employee form is enough to store all the company's information, all the businesses information. Only one form. I mean, one table. One table is enough to store all the company's employees information here. No need to create multiple tables to store multiple companies employees information. So here, one thing we need to remember, data is specific to company. I mean, data belongs to company, I mean here, but a development is not specific to any company. I mean, particularly for a company, we cannot create anything. That is not possible. I mean, this form I should show only in a particular company. Only I need to develop this kind of form only for that company or only for FRRT company. That is not possible. Development is not really to specific a company. For a company, we cannot develop a form. We cannot develop a report or a table kind of thing. Anything. See, development is different and the companies are different. Development will be done at Visual Studio. When we are developing anything, system will not ask you, okay, for which company you are creating this table, for which company you are creating this form. So system will not ask you. Simply we will create the table and we will create the form. That's it. So once it is come to the once we place the form in the user interface, that is your wish. Whether you want to store the data in FRRT, then you can use it. Otherwise, just leave it. In that company, we don't have a data here. Why? I don't have employees here. For example, this company is a kind of something like service industry. In service industry, maybe I don't have a manpower. So that is the reason I don't have any employees here. So you should think like that. Okay, coming to the company is always the user interface aspect. Company is not related to any development aspect. Company is different and the development is different. Each company data will be different. One company data will not be same in another company, because that is different business, this is different business, data will be different, right? In garments business, employees will be different, and retail business, employees will be different, but the table will be same. Here, whatever the form we are seeing, that is not changing. When I am changing the company, the form is not changing, just data is refreshing, that's it. But when you go for the SQL Server table, you can see all the company's data in a single table. See, here we are creating only one table to store all the company's information. Okay, so that what will happen in the back end, we have only one table. In that table, that company employees will be there, FRRT company employees will be there, okay, GLRT company employees will be there, GBSA company employees will be there. Every company employees will be stored in a single table. In that table, one column will be there, that is called a data area ID. Okay, now I will do one thing here for your best understanding purpose. Okay, let us assume that this is a table I'm creating. Like here, I'm creating employee ID, name, age, okay, date of birth. In last, we have a field called data area ID. Here employee ID, for example dat company D001, okay, blah blah blah, data area, it is a dat company. So dat company, okay. And for example GBSA company, GBSA company, GBSA, and FRRT company, FRRT, like this. In table, data stores like this. Suppose if I'm creating a record in this form, this record will go and stores in the backend table like this. Like this. We will enter name, ID, age, date of birth. Finally, system will automatically takes the data area ID with the dat, because we are in dat company. Suppose we are creating a record, this record directly stores against the dat company. Suppose if I open FRRT company, if I create a new record, if I created a new employee in this form, so that system will store like this, But each and every record will go and sit in the same table itself. But the data based on the data area ID column, data will be segregated. For example, if I open that company, system will find out the records which is belongs to that company. For example, we have 10 records for that company. All the 10 records will be filtered and it will show in the user interface here. Every time when you select the company, system will fetch the data from the backend to front end based on the company name, which company you have selected. When you select immediately, system will automatically find the relevant company records in the SQL Server table, and it will fetch and it will show in the user interface object. That will done automatically. So this is called a database architecture when it comes to the front end and back end. So that is the reason our product, we can call it as a single database architecture. No need to create multiple tables here. Of course, we have a number of companies here, so that no need to create multiple tables to store the multiple companies information. Only single table is enough to store for a requirement. For example, here we have an employee table. For employee table, no need to create multiple employee tables. For that company, one employee table. For FRRT, one employee table. Not required. Only one table is enough. Of course, suppose if I go with another requirement, that is also same. For example, here there are loan items form is there. Loan items. Here I would like to store the loan items. Okay, if I create a new record, okay, this record will go and sit in the dat company. I mean, it will store against the dat company. For example, if I change the company name FRRT, maybe data will be different, something like. Okay, so this is what the database architecture behind of our ERP product. So this is called single database architecture. No need to create multiple databases. I mean, for that company, one database, FRRT, one database, that is not required. Then again, we need to go for previous generation kind of thing. If the product designed like that. So why ERP has more popularity in the sense, if you create n number of companies, just based on the database capacity, you can store the data. Front-end application is fine. Simply you can change the company name, that's it. One company to another company in a fraction of seconds. Okay. So this is all about the user interface structure and forms, reports, and etc. etc. Okay, coming to the development aspect. So here we are seeing a lot of functionalities like forms, reports, dialog boxes, and the user interface modules, and each and everything. We have a lot of things here. So where we need to develop all these things, we have a development environment called Visual Studio. In that Visual Studio, we will develop all the aspects like modules, like forms, reports, dialog boxes, like tables, etc., etc. Whatever it is, the business logic, everything we will do it in the Visual Studio itself. And in SQL Server, we will not touch anything. In SQL Server, we will not create any tables, we will not create any databases, we will not do anything in SQL Server. Just that is a invisible important object. That's it. We will not touch the SQL Server even, because whatever the functionalities we need to develop, only we will interact with the user interface, we will interact with the Visual Studio. That's it. The SQL Server is the invisible object. That's it. Invisible software. Whatever the tables you are creating in the Visual Studio, all the tables will stored in the SQL Server itself, because the primary data stores in the SQL Server. Here we are seeing a number of records in employee table. Those records already there in the SQL Server itself. Okay, we will see that one also. Okay, coming to the Visual Studio, here we have a Visual Studio icon is available on my desktop. It is a 2015 version. Okay, we are using. Okay, you should always open this Visual Studio, run as administrator. Okay, don't forget. Okay, don't open this icon with a double click. Okay, and don't use this option or something like this option. Always open your Visual Studio, run as administrator. Otherwise, you cannot create projects and all in the Visual Studio itself. Okay, you just do one thing. Go to the properties, grow, and there is an advanced in the shortcut. There is advanced button control is there. Just a tick mark this. Always this application will open run as administrator only. Okay, when you double click it, automatically it will open run as administrator only. Okay, now this is the core user interface of the Visual Studio. See, this is IDE, integrated development environment. For all Microsoft applications, we will use Visual Studio, not only for Dynamics 365. Okay, recently Microsoft brings our development section into the Visual Studio. Previously, in previous version, we have a separate environment is there. Separate environment in the sense, in our ERP product itself, we have a development environment in AX 2012 product. The previous version of this product is Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012. This before version. In that version, the development environment will be inside the product itself. But when it comes to the Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations, the version name also changed here. Okay. In this product, in this ERP product, complete the development environment brought into this particular Visual Studio. So it is a unique platform for all the developments of Microsoft products, like any .NET applications and any SharePoint applications, anything, any Android related applications, anything you can able to do it in the Visual Studio itself. .NET related, everything. Okay. Our Dynamics 365 related, even CRM product also, CRM related products also, we can develop in the Visual Studio itself. Visual Studio is a unique platform for Microsoft. Okay, all the aspects we can able to develop in Visual Studio. In the same way, our functionality is also brought into this particular Visual Studio. Here you can see there is a Dynamics 365 special option is showing here. Suppose if you see in any developer Visual Studio, any .NET guy will use that Visual Studio, right? If you go and see the Visual Studio application, but you cannot find this option. You cannot find this Dynamics 365 option. Only after configuration of a few things, so this option will automatically integrated in this Visual Studio. That will done by the Microsoft really. Okay, so Microsoft is not giving any special software to integrate Dynamics 365 to our Visual Studio itself. Microsoft already giving predefined application here. Okay, and here coming to the Visual Studio, there are a few things we need to learn. Here there are file option is there for creating a new project. Okay, to open an existing project. These are see here I will tell you only few options here. Whatever we use. See this application already I told you this is a unique platform for all the Microsoft product developments. Okay, this application is not especially for Dynamics 365. This is for all. So no need to get the knowledge on all the aspects. Only a few aspects you just need to learn. That's it. For example, if you go for the file option, there is a account settings, recent files, all these things we doesn't require really. Okay, suppose if you go to this option, call hierarchy, bookmark window, all these things we don't require. Only a few things you just need to learn. That's it. But especially Dynamics 365 option is there here. Okay, this menu. This is especially for us. Whatever the options they have given here, we will use all the options, all the functionalities. Okay, but remaining things are optional here. Okay, coming to the file menu, we will use a new option to create a new project in the Visual Studio, to open an existing project, and in the edit button we don't use anything. Like in view option, we have a solution explorer. I mean, after creating our project, that will show in the solution explorer. And application explorer, this is very important option here for our Dynamics 365 developers. But normally in normal Visual Studio you cannot find this option, because this is, if you click here, what will happen, we'll see. This is our core development area, AOT. In this AOT stands for application object tree. In this application object tree, you can see there are a lot of things here: data types, data model, code, user interface, reports. Okay, there are blah blah blah, so many things are there. All these things which is relevant to our Dynamics 365 product. See, we have seen a lot of things here, right? Like in employee form or loan types form, there are so many things we have seen here. All the things will be resided under this AOT. It is already predefined product, right? Whatever we are seeing here, this is already predefined product. All the predefined product objects we can able to access from this AOT. Okay, for example, here I have showing you employee form. Okay, that employee form will be available in the user interface node, in the forms, HCM. Just a second. HCM worker. The form name is HCM worker. This one, see, HCM worker. All the things will be resided here. Whatever you are seeing here, whatever the object, like that may be a form, that may be a report, that may be a dialog box, whatever it is, all the things will be resided under this AOT in the user interface section. Either it is a form, okay, if it is a report, you can able to see here, you can able to see in the report section. All the reports will be available in this report section. All the dialog boxes will be available in the code, because it is a classes. I told you, for creating a dialog box we need to write a code, so that will be available in the classes section. I mean, dialog boxes will be available here in the classes. Okay, reports will be available in the report section here. Okay, the forms will be available in the form section, and the modules, I'm showing you all these modules, right? Accounts payable, accounts receivable, budgeting, cash and bank management, all the modules will be available in the menus. See here, I'll open here. Accounts payable, accounts receivable, okay, budgeting, cash and bank management, consolidation, okay, fleet management, fixed assets. Yesterday we discussed about, right? See, all the modules are available here. For example, okay, let me collapse all the things in the human resource management, like workspaces, workers, positions, blah 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 is there, right? Okay, I'll show you the same HR module. See here, workspaces, workers, positions, the same thing is there here. You can see, you can compare both. Workspaces is there here, workers, okay, positions, jobs, department is also there, up to setup. See here, so if you want to access anything in the setup, for example, in setup there are a lot of things are there, like human resource parameters, human resource share parameters, like worker tasks, okay, titles, reason codes, all the things will be available here. Let me expand here also. See, let me expand here also. You can check even if you want, like HRM parameters, HCM unions. I think unions is there, like see here, unions. It is user interface name, okay, but little bit will be same, like the same object. Labor unions and HCM unions are same. HCM titles, okay, worker tasks, HCM worker task. See here, so just I am showing you here how exactly the user interface we can see in the backend. I mean, in the Visual Studio, in the development environment. Okay, so here we have seen tiles, right? Tiles in the sense, suppose if you go to the bank management, if you go to the bank management, these are all tiles. All bank accounts, open bank reconciliation, all bank statements, import bank statement, these are all tiles. We can call it as a tiles. All the tiles will be available here, all the tiles. See here, what is that? All bank statements, right? Something like bank statements. Okay, but whatever the objects we tiles we have, all the tiles will be available in this particular section. Okay, and okay, so this is called completely user interface section. I mean, you can access the user interface objects, I mean forms and menus in the sense modules and tiles. All the things will be, you can access from here. And dialog boxes you can access from here in the classes section. In the classes section, you can access the dialog boxes. The reports you can access from the report section. See, all the things are available in which section? AOT. This AOT is available from here, Application Explorer. When you click here, it will open Application Explorer. Okay, let me open again Application Explorer. So our core area is Application Explorer. Suppose in future, if I want to create a new table or new form, but directly we cannot create in AOT, but we will create in a project itself. Of course, if you create a object in the project itself, like for example, I need to create a table, I need to develop a form. So what we will do, we will create a project and we will create our form and table in the project itself. After creating the form and table, those things will be available automatically in this AOT. Those objects will not save in another place. Okay. Even if you create a form or table, those form or table you can access from our AOT also. AOT is a unique section, unique area to access our objects. So all the things, whatever we are accessing, we are seeing in the user interface, all the things we can access from our AOT itself, application object tree. Okay. Coming to the next thing, we work with the properties window. We work with the properties window, and that's it. Only Solution Explorer, Application Explorer, and in this only properties window, there are major options we will use frequently. Okay. After that, debugging also. Here we don't use anything like a team is not our section. These tools also we don't use, test also we don't use, and Dynamics 365 is completely designed for us. Here for creating models, and updating a models and importing a projects. Okay, synchronizing database options. There are a lot of things we have here. We will use all the options for our development in our development aspects. Analyze windows and help our default options in the Visual Studio. Okay, mostly in view menu and in D365 menu we work more. Okay, so this is the explanation of the Visual Studio. And okay, first of all, we will interact with the SQL Server also. For example, we'll interact with the Visual Studio also here. Okay, for example, let me open fixed assets, sorry, expense management. Now I'm in FRRT company. Okay, remember, I'm in FRRT company. I have opened expense management module. Expense management module. Here we have a there is a travel locations. I just have opened a travel locations form. Okay, in FRRT company, I'm creating one travel location here. For example, travel location India, and it is Hyderabad. Okay, description Hyderabad. I have saved this record. This record saved for FRRT company. Okay, let me change the company, that company. Okay, in that company we have a Delhi. Remember, for example, USMF. In USMF we have two companies. I just want to see all this information in Visual Studio and in SQL Server itself. First of all, how to find out this technical information about this particular form. When you right click on the form here, you can see the form name. What is the form name? TRV destinations. The form name is TRV destinations. Okay, let's go to the Visual Studio. Go to the user interface, forms, just search TRV destinations. Okay, we got our form. Okay, here when you expand the form, when you expand the data sources, you can see the table name inside the data source. When you open the properties, when you open the properties of this form or any data source, you can see the table name here. This is your table name. I mean, to develop this form, we have used this table. The table name is also same. If you understand, if you observe something here, the table name is TRV destinations. Am I right? Okay, the table name is TRV destinations. Okay, let's go with the table. The tables are available in the data model itself. Data model, tables, table name is TRV destinations, right? TRV destinations. Now I just want to open my table. If you expand in table, uh, actually how many fields are there here? Only two fields, right? Location and description. Okay, let me show you. See here, two fields, and I just want to open in the user interface itself. Right click, right click on the table. You just need to use this option, open table browser. I'm opening this table in browser itself. Okay, click on here. Automatically this will be open in the browser itself. See here, now we are in that company. See, application by default, it will be available in the dat company. All the things will be available in the dat company, so that in dat company the Delhi record is there. Dat company, see here. Okay, so that, see here, in data area you can see the that these are business fields, like a description and a destinations are the business field. Like these four fields are system fields. For every table, n plus 4 fields will be there. N means business fields, 4 means like a system fields. In data area id, company name will store, and in record id, every record has their own unique number will be stored. Okay, record version and partitions are the system internal fields. No need to bother about these two fields information. Only we need to bother about the data area id and the record id. Okay, for every table you will find these four columns apart from your business fields. Now I want to see all the records. Like I want to see the DAT company records, I want to see the FRRT company records, I want to see all the company's records. So where I need to see? How? You just need to go to the SQL server. Okay, now on desktop you will find SQL server management studio 17 shortcut icon is there. Right click, run as administrator. Okay, here first you need to connect with the database, and when you expand the databases here, there is a database called AXDB. Okay, expand tables. When you come down to the there is a table starting with the DBO. What is our table name? What is the table name here? TRV destinations, right? TRV destinations. See here, TRV destinations. Right click. Okay, I want to see the information, right? So you just need to open edit it up to 100 rows. Now you can see all the information. See here, this record is available in BRMF company, Delhi record in that company. This record we have created recently, Hyderabad record. I mean destination India and description Hyderabad. Okay, in FRRT company we have created. See here, location India and description Hyderabad. You can see here, and this main office in USMF company, and in USSI company there are almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 records are there. USSI. Just let me open that USSI. This one last. See here, 5 records, but there is no description here. Okay, so that now you need to understand how the database architecture will be there in our ERP product. The core data will store in SQL Server itself. When we are opening this form, system automatically send a request to the database. I need USSI company information, so that the system will fetch only USSI company information and it will store it. It will show in the form itself. When I select that company, for example, so system will send a request to the SQL Server table. I need that records. So only that records will search and it will bring to the user interface. So this is all about database architecture. And one more thing, you should not create a record here. You should not edit the record. You should not delete the record. That is, we should not do anything in the Visual Studio. I mean, in the SQL Server tables, because the record versions and other things will be changed. See, everything should comes with the our product itself. For example, if you want to create a record, you have a facility, right? You have a chance. You have a facility to create a record from the user interface. Why we need to go for a SQL Server table, and why we need to create a record? If you create a record here, for which company you will point out here, how you will decide the record ID, how you will decide the partition ID here. So these 4 fields you cannot decide, right? Of course, you can create if you want a description and a destination, that is okay. But how you decided the data area ID, how you will decided the record version, partition and record ID, how you will decide. So that is the reason we should not edit the record. We should not create the record. We should not delete the record. We should not do anything on the table itself. Anything on the SQL Server table. Okay. And only tables will be available with respect to our product will store in in SQL Server itself. All the forms and reports, etc., will be available in our Visual Studio only. And one more thing, to create a table, here only we will create in Visual Studio. No need to go for SQL Server. SQL Server is just one invisible software. That's it. Whatever the tables we are creating directly, the same table will also create in SQL Server itself immediately. No need to write a code and all for creating tables. Okay, guys. If you want to know, just let me know. Anything?